Wait a minute. Get out here. Go get Uncle Joe. Go ahead.
And start, what year was it when you started trying to organize it?
Talk as loud as you can.
37. That whole line split into it then. Oh. Before I started working, 21. Harding was president, and he kept us to kill all the unions out. Had to get unions all through the 20s, so that 19. Money wasn't nothing, it was just dishwater. So much of it. You couldn't spend it. If you went to the coal mine that day, you made $30, $40, no place to spend it. After the company, you move in, get a job, move into the company house, they furnish your houses, rent them to you. And after you got that house, you could go to the store and you could get a dresser, a bed, some chairs, and a table. Then after that, there's nothing else to buy. You got that paid for, the money wasn't moved, you didn't have no place to go. So there were quite a few men that saved that money for 80 years. And most of them were gamblers and poker players. It's like a Wild West, poker players, gamblers. No man, he had to be a gambler. He'd work go in the mines on Monday morning and come out on Saturday night, Saturday evening. Never drives. So I'd take his dinner up to the tipple and go from there on through the head out on the bank or something mine. Be another motor, pick it up, take it all in for dinner and supper. And he only got 2 meals a day. Do it Monday morning, come out Saturday night, sleep at night. And he said a mash barrel before we went in. Sunday night, said a mash barrel. When the next weekend, he ran that mash barrel. Oh, pretty whiskey. The poker grade had he run the poker house. So when the whiskey would start running very slow. As fast as that dram glass, 1 ounce glass, would get full, that would go in the pot and put out $1 an ounce. And then also take $1 out of the pot for the house. I guess you know how that goes. That's $2 out of every pot he got, that's what he got that. And if there's any whiskey left over, he sell that to some of them before they went home. The whiskey brings about $90 a gallon at the end. Well, he'd send another barrel each week like that would do. In the meantime, it's my job to keep that barrel every week. I had to get that 60-gallon barrel carried full of water to get ready for that night. It's that Sunday night. I had to carry 8-pound hour books. I've done 6 or 7 years old. It'd take me all day, sometimes half of this day, to get that barrel of water carried.
Well, that's a lot of carrying buckets.
So 8-pound hour buckets. So that was my job. He made all kinds of money. And I've seen big stacks of money on a table like that. Big money, they were dollar bills. 5, 10, all that. And So sometimes he would win. I'll see the mother earn that money out that week, next week. Get it all earned out, flattened out and everything. Next week somebody else had that money. And they had no home. And so the slick dudes could out of Charlton started coming in there, cleaned them up. They done brought coal ladders and stick they had them. Them slick dudes coming out of Charlton, professionals. And off the river, they had boats on the river called the high seas, they still in the harbor. And they both. So good. Then here comes the election for 1920. And Harding, they told the women, Republicans told the women, you vote for Republican and we get you the right to vote. They couldn't vote for that. So all the women, then you can't. And we'll bring prohibition in and your husband can't get drunk no more. So that made the women happy. They said, oh boy, John can't get drunk no more now. Prohibition in. It was like, we'll get the vote next time.
So at this time, prohibition wasn't in?
Yeah.
It was in the 20s.
Yeah, the women, if the women hadn't voted yet, because the amendment was passed in 1920, right?
21.
21.
But that time whiskey was legal?
Yeah.
Before 21.
How did you make so much money making it if it was legal?
You didn't, in the mountains, after the mountains, at that time, there was no transportation.
Oh, okay.
You didn't see things like a loaf of bread or all that stuff. You didn't see that.
They didn't ship whiskey in there. The only ones you had was what you made.
No. So, you'd have to, well, an old man would come, Ashland, Kentucky. They had whiskey down there. They had West Virginia. They had gone to whiskey to Ashland, Kentucky. And he'd come down there and him and Mom and load himself down with that whiskey bottles and head back to West Virginia to get to finish old time price over there. Then, well, later on, way later on, West Virginia started selling in drugstores. They had a good prescription, get you buy whiskey.
But Harding was in and prohibition was voted in then. And liquor become illegal.
Yeah. Prohibition started in 1920. And that's when the Republicans took their seat, took their office. So things started going downhill right there and then. The government, Republican government, Harding, started killing the union up. Well, all the union men, coal mines, in West Virginia, Kentucky, Tennessee, and Pennsylvania, all flew together. And moved into the mountains there in Logan County, West Virginia, this side of Charleston. Moved into the mountains and slipped their guns in there. And they hadn't been in the state police at that time. They hadn't been at the state police before. They had been all the state militia did. And the state police and the state hired thugs to fight the Red Union. So they had a war in Logan County in the mountains. And the Union had to, Union men had to sleep around the night and travel over night time. You travel daytime. If they caught you over 3 in a butt, they shoot you. And no cause at all. So when they had that war, state had old airplanes. Persons come out. You call it wheelbars nowadays. It was 9 up. Then when they go to top of that mountain, and they had enough rednecks on top of the mountains to shoot them airplanes down. And, so then they had to, when the thugs and the state tried to send food in there for them, the union men would unload the truck and drove the big trucks over the hill. And so both of us hid, crawl out of the night time and hide, and then chug holes and cliffs and things like that, up trees. Some be in hollow trees, some up top of other trees. And so they shoot them thugs out in trees. They fall out and like 20 bricks. And no man, another guy, coming down the mountain, sneaking down the mountain, rock cliff, and he looked down there, and there were a whole bunch of thugs right down there. So they put their guns on them and don't not move down there. And they started shooting. They never put the guns down, and they did that, they was killed. Shoot them down there. And cleaned that much out. And my stepdad, and this guy run together all the time. He was laying down in the bush like that. He had a gun on that bush, you know, holding, shoot it. And there were state shells come on and cut that bush down on top of his head. He looked over the bush, damn, that was a crochet, wasn't it?
Well, no work was going on in the mines at this time. Nobody was
working. They couldn't work, you'd get killed.
Why did you go on strike?
It's probably trying to kill the union up.
Working conditions.
Oh, yeah.
money and working conditions.
Yeah. And so I went on for about 6 months in the mountain fighting. And the inside could win. They'd come back out of the mountains and one in the company houses had to move out. That was 1941 there. So moved down out to the hollers and on the river there. And Union furnished tents. Everybody put a tent for a redneck town. And furnished some beans, a piece of bacon, and coffee, meal, flour, and lard. That's all you did before to get it. And one piece of meat there, like it's a groundhog or something. And, that lasted 4 years.
Fighting went on
You lived
for 4
in a tent for 4 years?
Yeah,
21 through 25.
yeah. And
4 years trying to get the unions back in and get them stronger.
yeah, trying to hold what they had. They weren't trying to get the more, they were trying to hold what they had.
They weren't trying to get more.
No. They were trying to hold what they had. And so during that time, the companies were going all over the United States and other countries picking up scabs. Bringing them back in, no charges, just you come with us, we put you to work, and put them in our houses, put us out, put them in, give them furniture and everything. So they worked, the miners.
Scabs did.
Scabs.
Of course, you guys didn't try to hurt them, did you?
You know, that's really going to hurt those sometimes. And then, so 4 years, all these men didn't go back to work for nothing. They do nothing. And then,
But did you accomplish anything after the 4 years? Was anything?
no, you didn't. They took what you had away from us. So did, you had a commissary, And that's where all your meetings held, was held out on the commissary porch. That big old porch, on the commissary. When you come out of line, you notice on the head house that got there, about 2,000 feet on the hill, where cold goes, comes out of the mountain. Be a notice up there, and be a meeting at the time, with the commissary, at 4:30, something like that. You didn't go home, you went on to the commissary. And then the superintendent came out, and, well, boys, everybody gets a 10-cent cut. Maybe they got one yesterday. And sometimes you got 2 cuts in one day. 10 cents, 10 cents. And the first thing you know, they just had it down to nothing. That's when it struck.
But when you went back after the 4 years, you went back as what you went back before the cuts?
Oh, no. It's actually done cuts. I don't know, about 20 cents a ton then. It's about 80 or 90 cents a ton before the strike.
Before they started cutting you?
Yeah, before we started cutting.
And you went back for 20 cents a ton?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And after that, nobody could make no money, just make a living. But it's kept, yeah. Done appraisal law, and then the mines couldn't work because they couldn't sell no coal. And if you've been with them quite a while, they give you $1 a day for $8 and charge it to the future. Well, that's what's called, you get a debt to the coal company, you get $1 a day and charge it in the future.
All you was doing was becoming an indentured servant.
Yeah, it's a slave. So you owe them $25, and they get order for 4 or 5 days work. For 4 years, that was 4. You didn't get nothing at all because they'll pay you payment on the back debt. So that work commenced that old song before you sing. Another day.
What was the start?
20, loaded 16 tons.
Yeah.
What did I get? Another day older and deeper in debt.
Yeah. Because I get another 16 done for 50 weeks. About them debt, you couldn't go up to this other coal company up here would get a nice order. It's 4, 5, 10 days work, you know. Now, your mouth started watering. You'll probably get some of that money, you know. You go up there, where you looking at? So-and-so. You buzz that telephone. Sorry, kid, you owe that company down there so much money.
You had to stay there even though they didn't have any orders.
Yeah, you couldn't leave out there. Because the other company wouldn't hire you, blackballed you. You blackballed where you went. You had to give a reference where you come from. If you owed that company where you come from, it ain't all. They wouldn't hire you. So you go back there where you come from.
Now, who was elected? That party just pulled one term. Who was,
Oh, Harding,
yeah,
he was elected. Okay. Elected in 20, took office in 21.
yeah.
That's when the first started about it. Well, he died. He was vice president. He died, and I forget about 2 years later, I guess it was. Well, Hoover took over. It was the same thing. He kept the same thing going. All he did was fish. Fish and veto every time.
This veto.
He was a veto president and a great fisherman. He stopped New River, West Virginia, stopped the trout. And every time he picked up the paper, any kind of news, we didn't have no papers. I don't know where the news come from. But President Hoover in big New River, West Virginia, trout fishing. He stayed there all about. And things went clear down to the dog. come election time, 24, Hoover riding, he got elected. Just kept a Hoover over, nothing. That was just kept going down. And that's when it went down to the dogs. In that 4 years. So, he run again in 28. Well, they put a Catholic against him, Democrat Catholic. People that programs were dead against the Catholics. Never been a Catholic fan of that, and they never will be. So, Al Smith was his name. Run for president.
Al Smith.
That's right.
Yeah, Al Smith was running for president in 28. He was Democrat. They wouldn't vote for him because he was Catholic. So the next over Hoover again. And boy, I tell you, bottom line over there, that's when they started it.
That's when the Depression really hit.
That's when it really hit. But no work, no nothing. No nothing. You couldn't have gone the next door neighbor's bone piece of bread because he had nothing.
So that's when, we went back, you'd already come to, that's when you quit the coal mines where there wasn't nothing to stay there for, you were just working to get deeper in debt. So that's when you left West Virginia and started on hoboing and you ended up in Dayton. I was gonna ask you some questions though. Here, Lee, give me that, Lee. Because Joe was telling me about, said a story you told him, and I never heard this. Said something about some disease called the bloody flux.
Oh, that's right, better than medicine.
What was that? I don't remember you ever telling anything about that.
Probably didn't.
Why you let him finish? Break off in the middle of something.
I forget what year it is, 32?
He's gonna go up to the depression.
32? Had been 34. The disease went through the country called the bloody flux. You be a walker or anything, not one thing that won't hurt you, it feels as good as you can eat. Bang, like that. You take a trax in here and you take all your distance coming out. And it was all over. Pain laid out. All you done is pass about 10 spoons of blood. Jelly. Then forward. Good heart. And you couldn't eat no more after that. There was something to eat.
Hold on, Pop. Go ahead and ask him that question, Lee.
Go ahead. I've already asked.
It's waiting on the tape.
Anyway, this blood flux come through the country. And you be right on the street, one of those streets on the road, in the store anywhere, and it hits you and you fall down. And you take all of your guts are coming out. That's some pains.
What year was that, Paul?
I think that's 34.
Was it just in West Virginia? Or?
All over the country. Just like that, next to that 18 foot.
They have a lot of medicine for it? Or?
There's no medicine. Doctor did have medicine. And me and two boys lived on this big farm right at Grayville's. We run together all the time. All three of us took it. I'm just lucky when I took it about 30, 40 steps from Swinging Bridge. I run got under that bucket. Stayed there for about half an hour. And, so had to walk right down the spike through the bridge. And the next morning he couldn't get out of bed. So weak. That pain just took all the power out of it. Didn't come back. And about every half an hour, the pain come back again. A little bit of blood. Wasn't no medicine for it. Go to the doctor, he said, anything I can do, I know what to do about it. I said, well, Michelle, what little school I got, I'm assuming you vaccinate the people with the germ or whatever they have, like measles, whooping cough, they get that germs out of it. heart person and make his medicine to vaccinate another person with. And I think to myself, if they can do that, I can do that. So on the flux, I had dudes go with me some hope root, or blackberry root and dewberry root. But boy, hell, he was strong. Just sit there and drink it like whiskey, you know, drunk it. Just drank a big hot coffee is what it was. You sit there and drink that hot coffee, black coffee, tea. Oh, it was so bitter. You take it out of your mouth. And so next morning I was well. He lived that quick. Because you got went through there and killed that germ, you know. He started healing up. So my two boyfriends, they had another brother. They had three boys there. Oldest one, they took him to the hospital, but he died. This younger one, I fixed the medicine for him, he drank it. He got well. The oldest one, same age I was, fixed it up for him and he took a little stuff of it. So I just died to drink that. And so the next morning he's dead. And,
Wasn't there lots and lots of people died of that?
oh yeah, died like flies.
How big, did they have funerals for all of them, or
Huh?
did they have separate funerals for everybody, or was there too many of them?
It's separate funerals. It wasn't like that flu. There's a school teacher principal. He had it. The doctor done gave him up to die. He couldn't eat the bites. And so I started having to eat on that bed in 2 or 3 days. Well, I can't eat on it. Will you drink the medicine out of it? Yeah. So I make the medicine, he drank it, and 1 week later he was teaching school. He didn't get up to die. There's a lot of them died. Just a lot.
Just some kind of viral infection, probably.
The virus went through and it hit everybody. So it did last about a month. But it disappeared. I'll tell you what about 1918, the flu, German flu.
The German flu?
Yeah.
Yeah, that killed 100,000 people.
People just feel fine, working and everything, nothing hurt them. All at once, you had it. And no more eating, getting caged in. And it killed them like flies. I lived in Colgate, I lived in Lorient, and they colored it. Separated, colored and white, separated. Here's White Town, and the Black Town. This other coal company here in the same holler, White Town and Black Town. And
There's some coffee there, Dad, if you want to wet your whistle.
they, where'd they get there?
Lee brought it for you.
They did a crew down the mouth of the holler, digging a big ditch all night long. On the wagon, daylight, he'd be at the head of the holler, head of all the coal camps. Started, he'd come back towards the holler, stopped at everybody's house, and run in, everybody dead, stopped taking everybody in, just carry them out like dogs and throw them in the wagon. They could be little coal company wagons.
So many people dying, they had to bury them that way?
Yeah.
100,000 a day.
Okay?
14 million, I think it was, died. More than World War I.
There's been millions that died, wasn't
It was,
Yeah.
it was 14 million. I seen a special on it.
Yeah.
You lived through that, huh?
And I told Bubba, I'm not going to take that flu. I don't do shorts. I didn't think it.
The people you knew right around you died.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Isn't that strange?
So this way, every morning we go where you get low, come down and check in every house. You know. If the door was nobody at home, they'd open the door and go in and check for sure. So they'd be laying there dead. And go to the wagon, take them down to the mouse holler, and and cut them up. That tree down there, we cut them up and dig it up. Kept on digging this window machine, they all by hand. And that's when it's all buried. And you heard me talk about Chapman's family.
Mhm.
The old man was a professional alcoholic. He stayed drunk every day and drank whiskey. And so he was on the porch and drunk, and they had to go in the house and get to his baby and carry it out on top of him. They let him lay in there. The baby was dead. And he didn't die. He never take it. That was something else.
Nobody under your family died or nobody?
No, my family didn't have it.
All of your family, you know, your brothers and sisters all lived, didn't they, up until they died of
Yeah, they all lived until
old, you know, they were older when they died, right?
60 years old.
I know, and that is for, you know, all the things that can happen to you and all the diseases and everything, how many of them were you?
It was seven of them. I was 8.
8 of you.
Mm-hmm.
That's a miracle when you think about it.
Yeah, it was 3 dead, born dead.
Well, now you later on met your dad, didn't you?
Huh?
You met your dad later on, didn't you?
Yeah, it was 1942.
Your real dad?
Yeah. Your mommy, she come from Ashland, Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
Now, her grandma knowed my dad. He was still paying the old Daniel. He was champion 5-star bench figure in that county. And your mother, she went back down there 2 or 3 times. And she talked to her grandma about she married Joe Boys. And she said, well, I know boys. Maybe, she said, I didn't have no daddy, you know. But I know, he came from where your daddy came from. I came from. So he might be my daddy. And I had no reason to it. So I went to Kentucky and talked to Grandma. Visiting down there. She said, where were you born at? I told her about Christy back there, morning. And she said, well, you're his son. Said, I heard him talking about he had a son. You got a woman pregnant up in that holler. So she told me where he lived at. He lived in Martin, Ohio.
Ironton?
Yeah. And had a family. So when I go to West Virginia, I don't know what house he lived in. It was stopped there. And he went home, and his wife was there. I asked him where he was at. She told me down on the highway, working on the highway. I didn't tell her that I was his son. And so that's who come from where he was working on the highway there. Pulled off there, and I got out, and I don't dress at that time.
You was what?
Dressed up. And I had a hat on it. It looked like it was a cop, you know.
Oh, dressed, okay.
So I walked up here, and I talked just a solid, your name any boys? Yeah. I said, I got a one for you. What for? Whiskey. Bootleg. He did serve all kind of colors. And so after I got done pulling jokes on him, I told him who it was. He looked and, well, I heard it, I think he died a long time ago. He said, I know you were born, but since your brothers your mother's brothers wouldn't let me come back no more. He said, I don't think him if I went back up there. And so Mom died. My mother and Cat Hope in the car. And I said, come on out of the car, I'll see somebody.
Your mother was in the car?
Yeah.
Oh.
I hear that woman's dead. She got pregnant back in the so-and-so year, you know. And boy, his face just turned all kinds of color. And Mom said, what'd you leave me for? And he said, well, that's what I gonna do. He said, they gonna kill me. Your brothers, and so I had to get going. Couldn't come back. And so I heard you died. The news got all over the country, you died. She said, I thought that was the end of it. And, I never heard of him no more. So I seen the paper where he died.
Did he seem like a nice guy?
Yeah, he just looked exactly like me, but no different.
He was a nice looking man, then, wasn't
Then it old guy.
But he looks a lot like you, huh?
Yeah, Grandma said he found me your daddy because he looks exactly like you when he was younger, you know. She knew him all his life. They come to find out, I'd been in there asking about whiskey going back in West Virginia. And bought it off of him and didn't know it.
Oh, you met him and didn't know he was your father?
Yeah. He had honey whiskey in Kentucky, but not in West Virginia. You slip in there and get your car loaded and back out. And you go across the bridge, the cops all had made up with the bootlegger over there in Kentucky. You sell it to them, and when I see them come across the bridge, they're hanging down the car, I get them. They give you the whiskey back. We get the money out of them, and the whiskey I give it back to you. Sell it again. I played a trick on them. Instead of going across the bridge, I went the opposite direction and stayed all night. Next day, go across the bridge. And he didn't play in the night time. We pulled a joke on him.
Lee had a question for you here. Go ahead, Lee.
Well, back in your childhood, didn't you guys do anything for fun? Like you didn't do any fishing or have a place to go swimming when you had time off?
Wasn't no time off.
Just time off.
I wasn't allowed to play with no other kid. And most times you had a fence around the place. You were not allowed outside that fence. And if you get out there playing with some kid, you got a switch. You got a good switch. You didn't go back no more. And I was about 8 years old. A little piece of ice about 6 foot long in the creek behind the house. And I was out there shooting on that. And he shut out mines early, caught me. And he wore me out for that. Wearing my shoes out, shooting on the ice. And there wasn't no such thing as fun. I wasn't allowed to play with other kids. There wasn't no time off.
A little different from your childhood.
You wasn't, small slave, though, I think you call it. Wasn't allowed nothing.
Everybody was just about the same, weren't they? You know, of course things might have been different if your dad would stay around, and things might have been different than what they had turned out with you being raised by that stepfather.
I don't know about my dad. He had another family. He was making whiskey. This house he lived in was built on the hillside. The banisters came out of the kitchen, the banisters were up quite high. And the kids were there playing, and she seen a log coming. She grabbed this pot of mice off the stove and put it over the banister, threw it over that kid, and scalded to death. That was one of my half brothers. He had sisters and mother.
What do you have brothers?
Brother, sister, one of them.
Who's
His
father?
real dad.
His
From the
dad's
real
family.
dad. Okay, okay.
Yeah, I knew that was second family. I think so. The best thing I do is just not try to get in contact with none of them after that. So when they grow up, maybe if she found out that her husband had another boy, me, they caused trouble between him and his family.
No, you're probably right about that.
So I just let everything drop down. I never heard more about him until it was in the paper. Then.
How old was your dad when he died?
What?
How old was your dad when he died? Remember?
I don't remember. He would be about 10, 16 hours. Over 30, 29. I was about 32 when I seen him. That was in 1942. If I was 32, he had to be 42, 48, about 8 years old. When it all run around, him and my two others. He's now when he died, I wouldn't know how old he was.
Did he live to be long or a long time or
Well, he lived to be,
70s, 80s, somewhere along there?
I'll say 70.
Did you come up?
I think that goes to prove that hard work don't really kill you.
Yeah, it's good for you. But wasn't nobody had working hard as I did. See, he had boy wages and man wages. And on the farm, you get the biggest dose of it. My daddy would get $1 a day, you got 50 cents from daylight to dark. And it was all handwork, with no tractors on nothing. Horses. Now you start down that line on the corn with a hoe. The men is in front. Your daddy is in front. And the boys come ready for her end. But the boss was on the tail end. You got it in place. And he had his eyes on all them rows. If anybody left the weed, they had to come out and get it. And if you left the weed, the old man sat around and set fire at it for noon. And that's what it was. And I got 50 cents, he got $1. That was on the farm. Now, a lot of kindergarten, boy wages, it was $1.50 a day, and the men was $3 a day. And 1926, the old man got caught for, and there's bass barrel sitting on the property, where he renting.
A what?
Bass barrel, that's whiskey, that big whiskey way out there.
Yeah.
Well, somebody turned him in, and the cops come and destroyed that and arrested him and attacked me for state witness.
Took you to jail too?
Yeah,
How long did they keep you?
till the trial came up. Well, the trial came up and turned me loose. I went on back home. Well, I had 66 days, I think it was, I was in there.
66?
Yeah,
Just because you were a witness?
yeah, state witness. The kids that had no freedom at all.
How old were you?
15.
It was a regular jail, like all grown men were in?
Huh?
Were you in a regular jail, like regular older men were in?
Yeah, we all went over to jail. And they had a window there, you put the food in that. It was prison size. And I told everybody, the sheriff was going on. Hold me up there and push me through that hole. I was skinny old. So they went ahead, they pushed me through that hole, I fell down on the floor on the other side. And I was sitting there at the desk for the sheriff to come back in. Well, how'd you get out of here? I said, I walked out. I come you didn't leave. I said, I had no place to go. And he said, well, you just stay out here then. He would lock me back, he did lock me back up. He didn't believe then, he didn't believe now. I stayed trustee until court said. He had some men that were trustees. They had to go to the mountains and raise turnips and turnip greens, mustard and all that stuff to feed the birds on. Ready to take me up from those. Come back home, get out, go down there, come back home there and all them kids starving to death, nothing to eat in the house. The guy told me I'd been trade with for years and years, maybe 10, 12 years, to a private store. When he gets the money, he gets some stuff out of sheep. And another farmer above me, I went there and borrowed $5 over him. Now, my ex-school teacher come by, and he lived right around 8 miles down the road. From Grave Hill to White Oak, about 8 miles. Well, we got his, that's where he lived at. And we got down here down about 10 o'clock. And he go take me up his holler, see the boss next morning to get a job. We get around 10 o'clock and I lay down in bed like this, and folded. The next morning, I woke up and say we hadn't moved one hair. And that's something I wasn't used to doing. Well, we got 4 o'clock and got ready. Walked about 2 miles to catch the train out. Timber train, lumberjack train, up the hall. And he said, told the boss, here's that boy I was telling you about. Said, he's a good worker. Said, he possibly can, hurry. He looked at us, how skinny, you know, all muscles. And so he said, how old are you? Yeah, I didn't look yet. Well, 70, I was 17. Yeah, I was 15. Just turned 15. Now, you don't look 15. You can't do this kind of work. Let me show you how you got to work a lot. And they had a whole bunch of warriors working, $1.50 a day. And 2 months where you got a paycheck. $40 a month for a country. And so when it comes time for payday, I was about 200 or 300 feet outside doing something like that. He'd come out there, he said, Joe, tomorrow's payday. He said, I'm going to pay you man's wages. He said, you do as much work as every man I've got. I appreciate that. Now there's something else. If any boy finds it out, I have to take it back away from you. He said, if they find it out. And so you go down to concert at night to get your money. I went to get mine here, they always gang around watching, especially me, you know. They gang around the office door, in there, always watching. And I see it was kicking. And here I done told this guy, little cutting store, little private store, I'd be getting little stuff all you know, to pay that. And I had to go, I thought I'd be there for sure on Sunday. And so I couldn't get my money. So Monday, I had to wait the morning after. I sent back Monday to get the check. Had cash, we paid no checks. And this guy got mad at me. He thought I lied to him. And so I couldn't get back till next week. I boarded down there. And you come home Saturday night, you go home and I bring all the groceries, get from the commissary, park the carriage for that 5 miles, for them to eat on until next week. So I come home. And you talk about somebody being tired, you told a sack full of food on your back, all you can carry, flour and meal, potatoes and bacon, lard, some what you barely can get by with.
Just the bare staples.
Yeah, and so unless we call him, how much our payday guy. All he can get you, that's our payday. You see how they're telling me the truth, you know. Now you get anything you want to, anything you want. So I just about had to buy some stuff from somewhere. Well, my mother sent all the kids up there to get the hat so they could get it. Okay. So they did 2 months for their pay you. Then after you pay every month. So this farmer I've been working for, now he's gonna move me down there in the wagon. Well, he moved me down and he started crying and hated to lose me. You did the best work I've ever had. I'll give you $1 raise to come back. And something else, free house rent or something. Anyway, about $2 raise.
How close was this to where your mom and your brothers and sisters was living? Where you were working?
About 5 miles.
So you had to, when you got paid, you had, like you just said, you had to go take them food, right?
I used to get there from a cutting store.
You didn't have any money left, did you?
No, I didn't want to help.
So you just worked just so they all could eat and you could eat.
Yeah, you come in, working 10 hours on the railroad. And you come in and wash up, and empty boarding house. Place where you eat at. 10 or 12 tables in there. I'd eat and I was trying to serve food a week and get my groceries bought so I could carry it. I had it over the bookhouse here. The bookhouse where you slept in. I had it already bought up over there. So we'd eat my supper on Saturday night. Run to get my groceries, take out. Well, get that stuff over in there Sunday. I get home about 9 o'clock and it's gonna have 5 hours after the groceries. Had to walk the rest quite often. And then Sunday about 5 o'clock start back again.
You did that for a long time, didn't you?
Yeah.
About how long?
All of that. Quite a while.
Then after your mom, I guess, married this other husband, then that's when you left and went to Dayton?
No, that was years after that. That was
So you had to feed them for years and years? You had to work?
yeah, from 1929. We was working and everything was going fine. And the stock market was broke at 29.
Yeah.
The bottom fell out everything. Wasn't working. But my log job was still going. And gold mine didn't have nothing. So I get a little better than coal mines was that time.
So it's 29 and you left in, what'd you say, 39?
Yeah, there's I left.
To go to Dayton?
Yeah.
So 10 years, you didn't get married, you didn't do nothing?
No.
For 10 years, you just worked and helped feed the family?
Yeah. I raised all them kids.
10 years.
Well, you see, before that, I just say we raised the kids.
You what?
Before I was 15, I just say we raised the kids before that. Making whiskey and working on the farms and here and yonder,
Whatever it took.
whatever I get hold of. Don't really take all his money and put it in the program, the whole house.
So when you went to Dayton, that's when you met Mom, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You met her in, what year was it? Do you remember what year it was?
39.
Should remember that.
You met her in 39.
Yeah. 39. Yeah. New Year's in 40.
New Year's Eve?
Yeah, that was 39, but 2 3 days before that. In 40. That's when we got married, in 40.
So, and then you left there and went to work at United Aircraft.
Yeah,
That was low salaries then? Was 27 cents an hour? Was that a low salary?
yeah.
That sounds like some kind of government installation. United Aircraft, it wasn't government?
Yeah, government works,
It was government works?
yeah. At that time, civil service was $1,800 a year.
1800 for civil service.
Yeah, any kind of civil service was $1,800 a year, a week.
No, we not me did.
I tried to get on that, never could. And, but it was, everybody was trying to get on it,
Trying to get on what now?
civil service, any kind of civil service work.
The $1,800 a year.
Yeah.
That was good money.
If you're 100% man with no responsibility, you might get in the Army, you might not. Accident. Everybody's trying to get in the Army, you know. And there just wasn't no work after 39, 29. Work went down to nothing. Wages were cut again. Coal got down to 10 cents a ton. And that's when I worked a week for $3.
How long does it take how long does it take to shovel a ton of coal?
Cool, kind of have a good man you are, and
Well, just a medium man, normal man.
you don't know how long it takes you to shovel a ton of car. The car is 2.5 tons. And when you go in the morning, this coal is night shift, took a machine to cut the coal 6 foot back under there. On top of the floor to cut a hole about like that, back under there. Like that. Clear across this room there. And, of course, if you got good top, they make this room a little extra wide. You got a good sand rock top. And mine drove 20 ton, my room, and no man's room too, he's right next to me. Well, you had to load that 20 ton a day, or bring your tools up. Now, mind you, you had to go in early, walk in, mine walk in, and set your, when he cut this coal out, and you load that other out yesterday, you had a 6 foot trackway. You had to drill that track, set post, and sometimes you had to dig your trackway out.
So it wasn't just all digging coal. But bottom line is, you do about 20 ton a day.
Yeah, you had to bring that out, and plus it did work. You didn't get no pay for this.
So you got about 20 cents a day when you were getting 10 cents a ton for coal? That's all you were getting was 20 cents a day?
No, you got $2. 20 times 10 would be $2.
Oh, am I just stupid?
Yes.
I thought he said it was 10 cents a ton.
Yeah, 20 tons.
Oh, God, I guess I am stupid. Okay, 20 tons, okay.
You had to load that.
Erase this, back this up, this isn't me.
You had to bring that 20 ton out to bring the two.
Okay, so you got $2, you got $2, all right.
Nasty place was going downhill and it was a wet place. You had to load a cup of cart of water. Water carters. Load them before you start to work.
So it wasn't just all, you had all this time.
Get you guys born pretty soon.
You had all that time to do before you started to make a nickel. Now after what year you got in, we made the company do that. Or either pay us to do it.
So you got like almost like an hourly wage instead of just, what, a per ton price?
We got hourly wages for that dead work. And so much a ton, over the ton, if you get a ton.
So, Grandpa, when you went to Ohio, when you were living by yourself, none of your family was with you?
No,
So where did you stay at when you were by yourself?
I was on 5th and Wilkerson.
5th and Wilkerson. Did you stay with an apartment or
Yeah, that'd be one room.
a bunch of other people stayed there?
Yeah.
In that same apartment building?
Yeah.
Well, how'd you get to work every day?
We walked.
Well, you didn't have any bus system out there?
It must have been, you didn't have that nickel.
Oh, yeah.
That was very important.
It must have been no nickel.
So then you met Mom.
And I bought, before that long, I bought the store there in Dayton. Really high-class store. So I bought all the stuff there and sent it back home for Mom and the kids. But I could get a first-class broadcloth shirt for $1. I had to do that. When I got my job, you don't know if I had a broadcloth shirt and tie it, or not. Well, he gave me $1 and something to buy the shirt and bow tie. I had to work again. Then when Petty come, I had to pay that. She said, don't pay that back this week. You buy another shirt so you can have a cleaning each week. And then pay me the next week.
This was where?
That was the Sun's Grill.
The grill, okay.
It was a nightclub. And I was off on Tuesday, having a day off. And then when I rode the streetcar from where the factories was, taking in all the factories, and me get off one factory and walk a mile to the next one. And it felt like it had equipment after factory all closed. Felt like I was walking back home and see that catch a streetcar back. The possibly miles over there. I tried to walk it, save that nickel. And when working in the bar and everything, I got a lot of tips. I had a half-gallon jar on my dress or something, room. I put it on a half-gallon jar and then used it. If I got some pennies, I'd say I had to get it for change of dimes or something. Bars. And Dude and Ted, as the third said that, they quit their hunting job and put Willie and Ted. And they get my jar and get money to eat on.
They found work. So now we've got to the point where they're pretty much back home or able to take care of themselves.
No.
How old were they?
I had sent money back there for them to live on.
Well, weren't they pretty much raised?
Huh?
Weren't they pretty much raised by then? The kids?
No, there's cat was a year old, something there, and Dolly and Charlie. And they're all too young yet. But they all picked up and raised and ginseng and everything. Just go on it. The older ones, Dude and Willie, Bernie, and Nana. They all helped that work.
They all what?
Work.
They all worked, so they were able to start kicking in and helping
Yes.
some.
On the farm.
So about this, how old were you then? When you met Mom, weren't you like about in your 30s, your early 30s?
Yeah, it's the first 29 we were there. February, that come February, I was 30.
You was 30 years old when you met Mom.
So, I told Willie, wouldn't work at all, he was 16. I said, you go down there and get the Army. You have to go anyhow sooner, that Army won't last long enough. So he goes down and signed up, told me he's 18. He take all, he's only 16, he take all in the Army. And so about, oh, we don't too long after that. But he got married, some girl down in Louisiana, stationed down there. After, so he come back to the war was over, he come back there to Louisiana, stationed there. He got married there.
How come you didn't get in the Army and go to war?
I was foreman to United Aircraft, Railroad Works, at that time. And I got deferred to 3 times. I went to Cincinnati 3 times. 11.
You wanted to go or you didn't want to go?
I didn't care.
Didn't care either way, huh?
Didn't care either way, but I could,
But your job was more important than you going over and fighting.
yeah, I wouldn't be making the rest of those education, I had always in the Army. But I got more money in the Army than I would working. So, didn't make too much difference to return. But that town is paying $1 a day in the Army. $30 a month. Board, clothes, everything, and allotments, you got lots of allotments for your family. Well, then you had, that'd be about $25, it'd be about $45, $50 a month.
When did you went from there? Did you go from that place to Master Electric?
Yeah. As I say, this half a gallon jar was full of silver, and you can't take it and, when you got Arthur and Bud, lots of clothes, they didn't have money. And we down Salvation Army, they got some few plates, something to see out of them, skip. And went out of Bad River and they gravel pit out there. And the old house there, somebody used to live doing the gravel pit time, you know, get the gravel out. It's all finished. The Dayton cops have been out there using it for a club, shooting and everything. Horse reason on top of it. And we didn't have no stove down there. We went to the farmers and did about 15 minutes walk back there to the drum room. And I roomed somebody, I was working back. They walked down this lane. And finally they got me a model, $65. Good.
Is that the first car you ever had?
No, it was supposed to head up here. And so I started driving myself then. And there's two other aircraft, this copper tubes would come in cartons, 1-inch lumber, pine lumber, all real first class lumber, 12 foot long. And this old farmer told me, he says, I'll listen to that place if you was promised me you'd stay there. He said, I don't want you to go in there in a month or two and back out. I said, that's what I want. The place they settled down for a while. We went out there and horse meats over top of it. And there were snakes and everything out there. Turkeys and the game warden, the game reservation at that time too. There's rattlesnakes out there. Call them swamp snakes. There's everything out there. And so after I got this Ford, went to Boston, got contract on to haul all that lumber away. And doing that, then I pulled the nails out of it and nailed them back together to make a stack of it on the carry. Trying to nail it, stack it together, so it wouldn't fall apart. And all summer, I hauled that lumber out there and fixed that house up, courts and everything, read and night. And that gun, that fall come, he took away from me when we put a tobacco farmer in there. I had to go out there and fix my house up. Lost that whole year's work besides that lumber. And, so he moved me down to Hawaii when you were down this.
Yeah.
He moved me down there, they charged me down there.
Yeah, well, I think we went down, and she told, it's underwater now. Did Caesar's Creek flood that?
Mm-hmm.
Cause I know we went down there, riding. You and, Katie took us down there and showed us where that you moved to, where you guys live.
Yeah.
down there. And it was, when you took us down there and showed it to us, it was all grown up with horse weeds.
Well, we were in several places. There's,
Okay, go ahead.
before I left West Virginia, in the year of 36, I borrowed money off the government. Fall through the winter of 36, me and Duke went everywhere, bought cows and hogs, and that kind of thing it had on. And in 37, come out, and it rained for 13 weeks. Never let up. And no farm at all. You couldn't do no plowing, you couldn't do nothing. When it quit, he couldn't rain, the sun come out hot. Baked on the ground there, couldn't touch it, it's hard as rock.
But this money you borrowed, it was from the government for you to start your own farm?
Yeah. I had the farm rented, 2,000 acres.
You own 2,000 acres?
No, rented.
Rented, okay.
Rent's like how much?
So I went to coal mine at 37 and took care of did what I had, bought up. Just spent all my money and to feed them that winter, 37. And 38, same daggone thing happened again. Ohio River flooded, Missouri River flooded, flooded over in Kentucky, and there was dudes in this 3C camp. He had to help back in out of Ashland, Kentucky, Hattiesburg. And when it quit raining, that was it. No more rain until the next year. And I took the hemorrhoids to the vet, and every time I got a job, it turned me down. So that's why I had to leave home.
So that because you just couldn't work anymore there. They knew the word went around that you weren't physically capable to work that kind of work anymore.
Well, you gotta go to the doctor to get a job. And he had 100% man to work. So I couldn't work no more. So I'd leave and Mom sold nothing for the cattle heat. So Mom sold the cows for $15, brood sows for $2.50, chicken 50 cents, 25 cents, anything came out there. Then I had to pay that bill off in Dayton. Dayton.
After you come to Dayton, you had to pay the government?
Yeah, I had to go back. And I got to be foreman. I put in an awful lot of overtime. And put all the money in bonds. I had a big stack of bonds when the war was over. But I hadn't said I went back to West Virginia, went back to cattle business again. But I went to growing business. And welding. Went to Rainsville and I was basically business built up there. And I had to park them out on the streets, many cars. And 73 went through there, like on 73. And the state police kept coming in there telling that sheriff, Chief, please, get them cars over there. When he come down and tell me, Chief would, I said, well, I don't know what I'm going to do. I had to fix parking. I got to park lot while I'm getting parts. I know, I understand that. But said they don't. And went on 3 or 4 times, about the third time, he told the chief, either you get them cars off or I'll have to take them off. If we be the same car, it'd be rotated. You fix one and then we come in. Well, I couldn't work, so I went over to next County Lake, in the town over there. What is the town over there?
Where?
Wilmington?
No, before you get to County Lake.
Oh, Lanchester and 350 out in there.
Something other. Yeah. I hold the wall. And big garage there, 80 foot by 50. And I got that for $80 a box. He said, I'll have the floor in and the ceiling in when winter time comes. I've done good that summer. And so winter time comes, slop, it was raining. I had to bring the car in a slop hole, wet waters, was off the little highway there, and mud, you eat up here on the cement. Well, good looking car come in, and then I couldn't do it. I tried to go outside, I keep getting all muddy. I didn't have no water in there. So I went from bad to worse, and finally it got cold, and I made a big 2 6-gallon drums go together, made a heating stove, and burned hot 5 hours a day of coal. And I told her, I can't take this no longer. I can't get a good looking car up there, a new car, work on cement. I'll tell you what I do, I get $10 a month, store my tool up here on cement. The spring, I'll work somewhere else, come back. Oh no, I gotta have my $80. That's my favorite. I've got to pay for it. So he was a preacher. Another preacher was working for him all the time. He was a dairy farm. Had a dairy farm there. Joe said, you bring your tools out there and park them in the barn, give you a whole big ruler. I had a whole big ruler in the barn, no tools, stalks. And I was raised there with work. I went back over there. I got a few tools, some body tools, and a grinder. And my father-in-law went over there and was talking to the storekeeper. He said, Dad, when Joe had his tools stored, he sold all he had out, trying to put him under arrest. Old man says, this is election day, you can't arrest him. You're going to arrest him with that. He started to get off the horse. The old man pulled his pistol out and says, you start to get off that horse and I'll shoot you. So he kept on coming down off the horse and he shot him, killed him. And we lived this, I'm walking this to there. We don't tell Steve or kind. So he run home, gets the big mob and takes out the road to Virginia. And starts working the coal mines there. He got some kind of trouble there, I don't know what it was. But we come to portions of Ohio, and he killed a colored guy on the railroad yard, the dirt shovel.
A what yard?
A railroad yard where he switched trains, coal. He killed a colored guy on a dirt shovel.
Your stepfather did this?
Yeah, and he ran home, gets me and Mom, and we catch the train into Cannon Creek, West Virginia, Papaw Creek, Cannon Creek. And him as the coal came in. And so him and the constable got into it there, and he bit the constable's ear off, and the constable bit his lip out here. We run home, gets me and Mom, runs through, goes through a tunnel with another coal camp. Nobody knows where he was at them days.
Couldn't trace you by computer.
No, with no
Social Security number.
Well, nothing. And besides, if you see a guy that you know was in trouble, you open your mouth, you get killed. So you better keep still. So, about a year later, we stayed there thinking open coal, and about a year later, they shot another colored guy. And, but he didn't move it. Anyway, we stayed there 8 years in that coal camp. That was the longest we ever stayed anywhere. Oh, yeah, and before that, it was on Paint Creek. That's over next creek from Cannon Creek. And come a flood. And Brother Dude, I had tub of water on the porch, and my brother Dude fell in that tub of water and drowned. And I was trying to pull it out. Mother come around and got it out. And the old man, he just died and leave it out. So the next day he come back and I thought you left. He said, well, I couldn't hear where the river's up. So
But you say dude.
huh?
You say dude.
Yeah. I was dude fell in the tub of water.
What was your stepdad's name?
Huh?
What was your stepdad's name?
Jim Bars.
Jim Bars?
Yeah.
He was mean.
It don't sound like he's mean, just take nothing off nobody.
I found out later that he'd been married, had 5 kids, and he'd been somewhere and come back in home and come down at the back of the house out of the mountains. And his mother-in-law and wife and mother-in-law was out talking. And she heard him, he slipped on her and he dropped. And then, what's he talking about? They're talking about him. So he just turned around, slips back up a hill. Never seen them kids no more.
I didn't know that. I didn't know he.
We'd known for a long time. And then come to find out his name wasn't Barnes, something else. We never did find out who he was.
About what year was this, Joe, when he come into your life?
I was still, I just been born, 1911.
You were the oldest, right?
Yeah.
So he was dude's dad?
Yeah, he,
Okay, you was the only one that was.
I had a half brother.
All right.
Yeah. So, he stayed on the in a creek at two coal trip resorts. He stayed out there for about 16 years. And so he got to constrained to work. He was graveyard was. He went down our river and found that house and started making whiskey wide open. So he got caught with Brownsville for 2 years.
That was during Prohibition then, was it?
Huh?
Was that during Prohibition?
Yeah, oh yeah. Served that 18 months. Come back and stayed out 18 months. And got bomb pregnant and went back again. I gave him the money that time to get divorced from him. So,
Where did you get the money?
I done got big, 60 years old.
You were 16.
Yeah. And
Did you make that money running whiskey or?
whiskey and working both. Whiskey. And,
You made a little on the side.
when he come back here, he's gonna grab Jack. So I just started carrying a 38 or 45 frames at that time. I was afraid of him. I probably killed him if I got a chance. And we had a little party with the neighbors. He threw a big stick down the river, right? And threw a rock at the door. Somebody was standing there. And I took out up to the bushes right up with that river lake. I took out far at him, noise was. I go kill him. So he got away from me. Never seen him for a long time. And, he went off and married another woman. And went up to Sand Lake. And he treats her just like a kid. He takes switch and whip her. One day he was working in the cornfield out of the house, you know, and she comes down the road. Where are you going? I'm leaving. He said, all right, you leave. He gets a switch, you whipped her tail and sent her back home.
How old was she?
She's she's a woman. Young woman. He whips her, sent her back home. Finally, she broke right and got away from him. He got our boyfriend. And they lived in the house over on the Big Cold River there, above Step. So man, he's still trying to get rid of her. So he picked a mess of peas and showed her out and was going to take her to her. And he had some whiskey, started out and drunk. By the time he got there, drunk. And he was sitting on the side of the bed, near the room, here's the kitchen, the door there. He's sitting on the side of the bed with his hand in there, asleep. drunk, and her boyfriend didn't have no legs. He slipped around and ball feet hammer and beat his head in and I killed him.
That's how your stepfather died?
Yeah.
I ever heard that.
Now, he shot you too, didn't he?
Had another stepdad shot me.
Oh, was that a different one?
Yeah.
I didn't know this. What do you mean a different stepfather? I didn't know this. I thought there was only one.
No, I had three.
Did you know this?
I knew there was two. I didn't know which one shot him. I thought Varus shot you.
So he wouldn't work. I was farming that time up his alley.
Which one's this now?
And Orb Jones.
Morton Jones.
Yeah. And
Is this their second?
the second one. So,
By this time, you're what, 17 or 18 years old?
about 20.
Okay.
And so I found had the field all plowed up, a great big patch, about an acre. We'll put that in white soup beans. So that told the Orba, you lay that off while I'm gone, and I'll go to Madison and get some soup beans, seeds. You had to walk through the mountains to get to Madison.
Long ways to.
At that time, the Persian people had, if you went a few days here set, you ought to go to Madison, the capital. You didn't go the road. You kept through the mountains. And you cut off maybe several miles. So I got left early that morning, walked out of Madison, got back way late at night, had my beans. And everybody's dead. I thought sure the ground laid off. Got up real early, get ready to plant them beans, and he hadn't laid that off yet. I got after him. He took out running. Never seen him more for about 6 months. Well, I'd hauled logs to build a chicken house. And the dude had built a paling fence around the house. That's in paling, homemade. And right in the corner, I was putting the grabs on the log, and I see something move over here, 90 degrees over here, I turned to look, and he had that shotgun on me. I hammered back, and I seen him bat his eyes. I knew he was shoot there. But I jumped behind that fence, and the shots come through here, over here, and that's how many I got, what come through the fence.
They're still in his back, too. They're still in your back, too, aren't they?
Yeah, I have a face here and her second year.
So he wasn't messing around. He was trying to kill you.
But he ain't trying to kill me.
He wasn't joking.
So, he got 2 years for that.
Did he?
Yeah. And so I left, when I had left home, me and Bob went back to keep Arthur and Bob.
Do what now?
Me and Bob and Arthur and Bob went back home. And I don't know what kind of car we had. Anyway, coming back home, coming down that holler, I said, well, there's that kind of big door. I'm going to on top of him, kill him. She took me out of it. I get ready to kill him.
That many years later, you saw him again?
Yeah.
He wasn't living with your mom, was he?
No, he didn't come back to work. He did in the same holler, he'd been there somewhere, and I come back out there with a car. And I would kill him on top of it. And then Mama said, keep hollering, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. So I grabbed my teeth and went on past him.
Well, let me ask you this. Was this Vars, or you suppose his name was Vars, was he all your brothers and sisters' father?
Yeah.
So they were married a long time, weren't they?
All the cat work.
Cat wasn't.
No, she belonged to work, second husband.
The one that shot you?
Yeah.
Where's number 3 coming in?
And that was the last of the father business.
That was it. Well, no, where was number 3? Who was
Oh,
that?
Ted.
Ted. Okay, we forgot Ted now.
Ted Doe was, he's the best worker you ever seen in your life. Hard worker. Long as it's over. He found that bottle, that was it. He lose his job.
That was the last one she was married to?
Yeah, that last one. The last one that,
That she moved to where? When she died, where'd she live?
well, she sold out that place in the Hollow for $300. That was big money then. That's when I left. She had sent on the cattle and everything. I got a loan off the government and bought in 36 and bought a lot of cows, chickens, and hogs, everything. Get sorted out cattle business. So in 37 it rained 13 weeks. It never stopped. And when it did rain, it quit. The ground just dried up and busted open. All the trees died. The leaves fell off the trees. You couldn't plant nothing. You couldn't plow it. You couldn't no feed at all. So I went to work on my coal mines that winter and fed the cattle. And the next 38, it did the same thing again. It flooded all over the house, West Virginia, Kentucky. So who did the 3C camp that time?
What's that?
That was a project, government, like WTA.
Okay. Okay.
And he had come to Kentucky and helped evacuate them people down there on the river, on our river. And so it's 37 and 38, they both done the same thing. Well, Paul said 38. Paul 37. I took to him once, it was so bad that I couldn't work no more. He had to be 100% man to work. You get a job, and then when you go to the doctor, he examines anything in the world wrong with you, he turn you down.
What kind of work was this?
Coal mine.
Coal mines, okay.
So I couldn't work anymore. I just started making whiskey then again. So the state Bluebean revenues.
The state what?
Still out.
The state what?
State revenue. Well, I'm still about half a mile from there. And I had a neighbor down the holler, a very small boy, maybe the family. They told us to give you a quarter, tell him where to go steal that. He told me where it was at. I didn't know he's over there. So he's been baby through the mountains like rats, you know. Yeah, don't want to go somewhere, just go through the mountain rivers. And so he told me where it's at. They came up and they turned that up. So the state federal, can just say innocent, put it against you, and keep you in jail 5 years without a trial. So I know they're going to put me in jail for 5 years. No matter whether you're guilty or not guilty, they don't care.
You couldn't afford a lawyer, could you?
Oh, no, I don't say they lawyer. And so I caught me a freight train, that fella there. Over 3 or 4 more rivers across the mountains. Got me a job loading coal. Mine wasn't too big. I worked all week, and I made $3 loading coal. And, my board was 3.5 for that week. So,
You made $3 and your board was $3.50.
yeah. I told the board master that, well, I owe you 50 cents, but I'll never owe you no more, and I'll never never load another shell of coal as long as I live if I start from this. If I'm going to Charleston, it's where you going. I don't know. I'm going. That's all I know. In order to get out of coal camp district, if I'm going to Charleston, then you go down with me, and Charleston, then you do what you want to from there on. I had open fields and catch freight trains anywhere. That's just be fine. We got to Charleston and I made it to the hobo yard. Caught me express. Them times you expressed all box covers. And that thing, they're stopped going this from big city to big city. And I got that thing, I froze to death. We had those roads. And I don't know where I went to. But anyway, I heard there's some oil wells in Greenville, Kentucky. Now, mind you, I was so dumb. When you went, like you did in Middletown, you was frankly, you was lost. You did a new world. You're so dumb.
No, not dumb, just never been there before.
You've never been nowhere, never seen nothing. So they, when I come in the shower, them are lights, you know, street lights. I didn't know where you crossed on Greenville or Redmond or what. So I just tried. With the little car come all the way across there. And so I talked to the hobo and they told me how to get up to Green, Kentucky.
Bria? Is that what you're saying, Bria?
Green.
Greedham?
Green.
Green, Kentucky.
Yeah.
Green.
Green up.
Oh, okay.
So we went up and down and as far as railroads went, and they take the mountains, across the mountains into the oil field. Got over there and he said, but he had a chance to get a job here, Pearson. And I had to go that walking to come back out. And come back into the yard. And 3 days for the cold train trial there. I hung up on that little coal camp for 3 days. And finally, let's get out of there. And somewhere near Ashland, Kentucky, there's a gas well on fire. And I had a whole jungle. We cooked on that gas. So they had 2 big garbage cans. And they stayed on that fire cooking all the time. One would be ready to eat, and another would be cooking. So every time a hobo would get off this train, they'd go there and get a meal. Slot, everything. You had to go out there and pound bums from anything you get a hold of.
What year, about what year was this?
That's 39.
39, okay.
So you got bumming and you get a piece of meat or onions, potatoes, or you get a hold of a piece of bologna and you throw it in that garbage can. You put that for the next bunch of hobos come in. And you catch straight on somewhere else. Then we went to the hobo jungle.
That was during the Depression now, wasn't it?
Well, 1939, yeah, it was getting.
Part of the phrase. So
There's hundreds of people bumming around that way too, wasn't there?
oh, you know, your railroad cars, gun toys, you got the big one 70 ton, you got 50 ton.
Yeah,
With 50 ton, you can stand it in your head, you got that high.
yeah.
And then cars, little cars, be loaded down with heads sticking out. Women and children and all.
People not knowing where they're going, just going.
No, it's just going,
Looking for something to eat.
yeah, something to eat, and most of the time, each city, police station will give you a dog sandwich. Rooney. And a piece of onion on it. That was heaven. And so you had to sleep on the ground somewhere, wherever you got caught at. In a hobo jungle, the forest stayed burning all the time there. They control all the trains. Kept that car going day and night. And so there's a guy with me from home, and we got back into, come into Indianapolis, Indiana. Get off the train there, and I was going to start walking out, see if I can't find a job on the farm or deer or something other. I ain't walking. I ain't walking out. We just catch the train and go on somewhere. I said, I ain't going nowhere. I got to find me a job. Only you ain't going to get no job on the farm. Well, you never know. I ain't been on the train. And we done been all over the country on the train hunting. So I started walking, and I walked clear into Cincinnati, out in Indianapolis, taking all the farms and the dairies. That's all there was. Nothing good. And it was in March all it was cold, rain, old drill rain, and so my clothes were thin, and they found me a fence rail. I got a forest sergeant and burnt that thing in two. I gave it 2 pieces of wood, and burnt 2 again. I gave it 4 for 6, 4 pieces of wood. But I couldn't stay there and enjoy the fire. I just had to warm my hands and then run up and down the road all night. It was drizzling and rain and wet. You couldn't sleep down. You didn't know where you were going walking. So you run up and down the road decent and keep your body warm a little bit. Run back and pass by and warm your hands. And till daylight, not drop asleep. And so as I started walking from Indianapolis, Cincinnati, next morning I started walking and come into Cincinnati and trying where the flop house was in Cincinnati. Even every big town had a flop house. So I done got eat up with a hog lice. They didn't my clothes.
Hog lice.
Yeah. Come down in boxcars where they shoot the hogs. They got big long spears, like a skeeter. And they hide it in seeds your clothes in the daytime. Nighttime they just come out there and stick that spear in you, like a skeeter. Oh man, it hurts. You try to catch it, there ain't nothing there. You just went back in that seed. Well, I didn't know what I had. So one bit me, I put my hand on there in the daytime. I put my hand right on him, rolled my pants up and see what it was. So I got in Cincinnati and they took all your clothes and throw them in laundry and put you in the shower and disinfect you. And you got to be nice, clean, sheet, everything on it. While you're in the bed, you clothes all goes through that big laundry machine. And next morning, ready to put on, and everything's dead. And then you got to get up and take that bed clothes off, pillowcases and everything, and make up that bed nice, and get ready for the next bum, that next night. And you got your breakfast. I don't know what it was now, not too much. Anything was better than nothing. And got my breakfast and started out walking, and where was going? So going outside, walk through Cincinnati, and walk right up. It must have been on 25. And somebody came along and says, "Where you going?" I said, "I don't know. I'm just anywhere to find a job." And he said, "Well," I said, "I'm going to Dayton. You want to go up there?" I said, "Anywhere." And he said, "Well, they don't work for you here in Dayton." I said, "Go up there." So he cut the door in Dayton there, and I got out. I was going on the way up. He must have had some money, job or something. He stopped the beer jar, got in a beer, and one of them said, "Well, you want one?" I said, "Nope, I don't know beer drinks." "Well, how about a sandwich?" I said, "Well, I'll take a sandwich now." So we got on, going into Dayton on Main Street, and there used to be some bakeries there. Over there, you get them not. And I hit that bakery up over red. That thing was hot. And people over there getting hot. That was real good. I cleaned that up. And when we were walking on up towards 5th Street, the guy washing his car. And I said, "Well, I wash that car for you for a nickel." He looked at me a while and said, "Well, you on a bum?" I said, "Yeah, I'm on the road." And "Come on in." He's the yard with us. So we was washing the car, and he went in the house for some time. And come back out, we finished washing the car. And he said, "Come on in, since supper's ready." He come find out his wife was from where I was, in West Virginia, on that river. And big supper. And he said, he's an apprentice for one of them printing places, like Dayton Daily News or something. And he said, "You come back there in the morning, and well, she fixed me a big sack of sandwiches." And he said, "You come back here tomorrow evening with us, and I can see if I can get you on phone somewhere." So, okay. So I went up, woke up to 5th, and Fifth and Main. And I was on one side of the street, somebody else on the other side. And, hey, buddy, yeah, you holler at me? Yeah. He said, are you homeborn? Yeah. Well, he said, I'm a professional homeowner. He said, you want to stay with me? You got a place to stay? I said, no. Come up and stay with me to get your job. And he took me on 2nd Street, nice, big place. And he's a window cleaner. He could get a job anywhere he wanted, anytime he wanted. In the union, you know. That part's the only union was. So I stayed for 5 days and I found a job. Cooking at his son's grill. It was a nightclub then. So he, 4 or 5 days later, he disappeared. And I stuck with that there apartment there for $7 a week. So I couldn't pay that. I was only getting $12 a half a week then. And so I dug out and hunted me a place for 3.5. Just one room upstairs. All about 6 to 8 months, maybe a year later. Yeah, he come in there, dressed there, and broke and hungry. I fed him there for a place. He had a key, told him going up to the room and stay there. He stayed with us 3 or 4 days, and I ain't seen him since. He just disappeared.
Let me interrupt you just a minute. I'm going to flash back. Because I want you to tell how long you went to school. You know, to a regular school.
I say didn't go to it because you had to do all of the housework. Sharing wastewater was about a quarter of a mile. And the drinking water was the same thing. And it was my job to see that there's coal, wood, and water for the next morning.
They didn't buy all the coal, did they?
They didn't buy no coal at all.
Where'd you have to get it?
The typical coal table was out there. About forced me to take a big curve up here. And B road. And it's my job to take a sack to carry coal to keep that fire.
Drive a truck up to get it?
And I wasn't told the second time.
Did you drive a truck up to get it?
Yeah.
Well, you didn't go to any organized school? You didn't ever go to a classroom and go to school?
Yeah, I come and do that.
Yeah, be quiet.
Excuse me.
You have to, then you take a sack and you carry that coal up that floor to do 24 hours, so the next day. And they can get this water ready for wash coals and drink it and everything, and getting some kindling wood ready. At 5 o'clock in the morning, I had to get up and make a fire and get the stove. Get the fire laid to grade and get the cook stove hot. It's cold wood too. So mother can get up and cook breakfast.
She was a little fella, right?
Yeah. I started out when I was 5 years old doing that. When I was 7 years old, I was getting the coal out of the tip of it, rolled down the mountain and into the creek. Well, it's a nice big dumps in there, you know. So I got my wheelbarrows, I loaded up the coal, trying to push it home. Had to work it, I should have had. That thing turned over, and I stood there and I cussed that thing. Oh man, he looked at them good big words on. So I cussed that wheelbarrow, it turned blue. And started putting the coal back in the wheelbarrow. And then I started praying. Lord, if you forgive me for that, I'll never cuss again as long as I live. And as far as I know, I never did. And this went from bad to worse on down the line. I never was told a second time to do anything. You don't want to keep that so-and-so. That went on annually. You never was told a second time. Anything happened that it wasn't done, you get the backhand. I told you about that. Bang!
That's from this bars guy.
Yeah, he always used the back of the handles. That hurt for enjoy your head. He had big hands. And never did whip me with the clothes on. I had to take the clothes off to get a whipping. I had to go get my own switches. I better get it good because if I didn't, you go right down out there, I had to get another. So I always try to get pretty good switches. And them switches wrap around me and catch the blood where they stopped at. And mother, she'd jump in and she'd slap around her. And she would say, why don't you leave home, good mother? At that time, an old law, you know, you can't leave home. A woman could, you couldn't go out of the cold game. You'd take you with you, walk out there and everything. So nobody would about keep your wife overnights. Then you hadn't rested. So your wife couldn't leave. They just take whatever punishment put on them.
Kind of like a slave then, wasn't she?
Yeah. Slavery, we were slaves at that time. Now you have a few good men, very here's a Indian. Most of them come out of Kentucky, out in the mountains at that time, and they was all, they didn't call women no more as woman, and they had to just, come here woman! And they, women just seemed as dogs. And everything was in favor of the man. Even if a woman died, oh, she was a fine woman, she bore me 12 kids, or 13 kids, what it was. Even the women had it in their own heads. The woman said, well, she was a good woman. She bore so and so many kids. The men was poor at the same time. On down the line.
They thought they deserved, that was their treatment.
You give me one.
They didn't deserve to be treated that way. They thought to.
But you did eventually start some kind of formal education, didn't you?
Well, between times, I may get to school about 10 o'clock, 11, and then have to leave out early, 2 or 3, to get that work done for the next day.
So they didn't care if you went to school or not?
No, I wasn't allowed. He didn't want me to go to school. I said, I didn't go to school, and you don't need to go to school. I don't know nothing, and you don't need to know nothing. And on down the line. And sometimes, if I know he's going to be gone, actually long, I get a little more time in school. But not then. Yeah, you had to shuck the corn and do every daggone thing. And then plow time comes, you hit the plow all day. It's the spring of the year. You might get all together 30 days out of school season. So that's all I got.
Well, you was talking about, you went to work in the coal mines. How young would they let you go to work there? How?
Well, the coal mines were, they had the child labor law. They just had got rid of that back in 1912, just before I got born. Before that, you were only about 10 years old, you had to go to the mines.
You had to go? Your parents would make you go to the mines when you were 10?
Yeah. And I happened to hit lucky enough that couldn't take leave until I was 16. People get smarter,
So you didn't work in the coal mines until you were 16. I thought you told us that you worked there when you were younger.
Well, the coal come off the mountain, all off the railroad cars come down that in time, dropped these cars of coal down the mountain, about 2,000 feet. Just like that. Big chunks of coal and all would roll off of the cars and come all down the mountain and in the bottom, temple. So me and two boys, we'd go that coal up there and get tilt boats would leave 2 cars sitting there, and me and them 2 boys, we'd load them up. And they go on through the temple next morning, and the boys was grandson of the superintendent. So that's the way we got to work.
They pay you for that?
Yeah.
But you weren't allowed to go down into the mines till you were 16?
Nothing 16. When I was 16, I had hit it.
At 16, did you get your own pay then?
Huh?
Were you paid yourself at 16, or did somebody else get your money then?
You couldn't do it for yourself. somebody had to take you in.
At 16?
Yeah. The old man took me in and I looked on his check number. He had a check, brass tag, is a nail inside your car on the inside. And you put that check in there and then load the coal. And when that coal is dumped, the guy got out there at the table, or the head house, takes that check and hangs it on the board up there. And they call him a check, or they call him a check woman. Now we'll get to one part. And they hang that check on the board, and at quitting time, the check woman takes them all off of there and takes them to the store, turn them over to the timekeeper, bookkeeper, is what it was called. If you may have loaded 5 cars that day, but only one went through the dump, to be dumped. You only got paid for 1 car.
What happened to the rest of them?
They come out later. They may be a week coming out of there and you get paid for them. They come out of there, all the top of the main line had a lot of slates. One little piece of slate on top of that coal that come out of there, up there on it. The old superintendent, duck that car! That whose was, they ducked it. Take that whole car of coal away from you. The slavery's all those. Well, me and the old man, we worked together, and he had a room, and I had a room. And each one of them brought 20 tons of coal a day. And he'd bring that 20 ton out and bring it to us, one or two. And he wasn't no fooling around. And so I loaded 20 tons of coal a day, and then we had to lay the track and shoot the coal and set the posts and bail the water and everything on for nothing. Shoot the coal. You get no pay for that. It's all dead work. And we got the union in. So you were so tired. Then come out of there, had to walk from, lived in a graveyard at that time, had to walk from Wormville, had to walk from there to Grayville. About 9 o'clock at night, getting in. And a lot of times you'd be so dead, you lay down on the floor, they wash, and they give you something to eat, you eat like a dog on the floor, and lay there about 2 o'clock the next morning and hit them again.
This was with Byers. That's who you was working in the mines with, was Byers?
And the kind of payday, you didn't get no money, you get a nickel. I never seen a nickel all the time I was working.
He got paid for your call.
Yeah. It's all on his check number. I didn't have no check.
And there wasn't nothing you could do about it.
Nothing you do about it.
But you know, I've heard you talk. He really never got any money either, did he? It all went to the store, and that's where you got your food and everything was through that store?
Yeah, that's, let's see, the whole time was working, we had a little extra.
Extra, he actually got some money.
He paid that off poker and stuff like that.
Oh, okay. How did help? You said, and then the unions got in.
Well, before the union got in, the store knowed how much money you made and how much you spent. Yes, had scams, you'll take care of that money. If you was, if you made $20 and spent 10, they want to know where that 10 went to.
We're gonna
Put that on pause a minute, Daddy. Hold that thought.